Hello, welcome to Absolute Java Basics for Android course. In this course, we're going to learn about all the basics of Java that are required for you to learn Android. This is my small deck that talks about Java in general and also about what this course covers. This is going to be a very hands-on course. This is probably the only video where we're going to go through slides. The other videos in this course, we will actually create a lot of Java programs to learn all the basic concepts. If I move to the next page, this slide talks about what Java is. If you did not already know, Java is a programming language. A programming language is basically something that we use to communicate with machines. So in this case, your computer. We write instructions using a programming language, and then that gets converted into something the computer can understand, and then the program executes. So Java is one such programming language, and it's also an object-oriented language. We won't go into much details about what object-oriented language mean. Just understand for now that object-oriented programming is one type of programming that is very popular, and there are a lot of languages that follow that pattern. Um, Please also understand that object-oriented programming gives us a lot of benefits, which we will see in the later videos when we actually create programs using that in Java. But just know for now that it brings a lot of advantages compared to other types of programming. And then I added a link to the actual Oracle site if I click it. So this is Oracle's Java tutorial site. Throughout the course, I will keep referring back to this one for some key concepts, and I would also recommend you to go through these links because, in my opinion, online, this is one of the best basic documentation of Java that is out there, and it's from Oracle, so you know that it's authentic. This is a very useful site if you're getting it started in Java to learn the key concepts. Now, if I flip back and go to the next slide, let's talk about some of the basic concepts in Java further. Java is both a compiled and interpreted language. If you did not know already, a programming language can be compiled and run in a computer or interpreted and run in a computer. The difference is when you compile a program, um, it creates another file which is basically a binary file that the computer can understand. As you probably know, computers can only understand ones and zeros, right? So when we do a compilation, our programming language, which is kind of in a readable form in kind of plain English, is converted into another form that the machine can understand. As opposed to that, an interpreted language is not converted into another file. When we actually run the program, each line of the computer program that we write is interpreted and executed by the machine. So those are the two differences between compiled and interpreted languages. But Java is both compiled and interpreted, and there is a big reason why it's the case. When we write a program, we create basically a .java file, just like how you create .txt, .doc, .pdf. When we write a Java program, we would create, let's say, hello.java. That's your program that you write. And then when we compile that program, we end up with something called .class. So if you created hello.java, you compile that Java program, you get the hello.class. And that .class file contains what's called the bytecode. So note the difference that earlier I said when we compile, we usually end up with a machine code, right? In this case, it's not the machine code, it's a bytecode. The bytecode is basically what Java creates and it can understand. Before we go further on why we use bytecode, let's understand one term that is used about Java. It's called a write once, run anywhere program. So you can write the program in, let's say, a Windows environment. You can compile it, and then when you get the .class file, you can take the .class file to a Linux environment or a Mac environment and run it without any change to the program. And that's where the term write once, run anywhere comes in. So the biggest advantage is your programs become more portable, right? And that's why we create something called a bytecode in Java to be able to create something that you can run anywhere. And After that, we have some jargons, JVM, JRE, and JDK. They all have specific purpose, and we will go through one by one. Remember, we said we create a bytecode, right, that Java can understand. So when you run that bytecode, what happens is Java creates something called a virtual machine. So it's basically a machine within your computer, right? That's why it's virtual. Java creates something called the JVM, within which the bytecode actually is interpreted. This is why Java code is portable, because there is um, Java knows how to create the JVM in different operating system environments. So you can create the same .class file, take it to a JVM in Windows, or run it in a JVM in Linux, or run it in a JVM in Mac. So that's where the portability basically comes in. Java basically creates JVM for that environment and runs the program within the JVM. And that takes us to the next point, which is JRE, Java Runtime Environment. Java Runtime Environment is nothing but a bunch of, let's say, libraries that Java gives for different operating systems again. For Windows, there is a JRE. For Linux, there is a JRE. And for Mac, there is a JRE. So JRE is just a set of libraries that Java gives for us to be able to run our programs. So using a JRE in Windows, you can create that JVM in Windows and run your .class file. Similarly in Linux and Mac. And then JDK is kind of like a superset of libraries. So when you say JDK, it includes all the tools and anything that you need to create the programs and all the tools you need to run the program, which is JRE that we talked about. So JDK is nothing but a superset of libraries that you can download from Oracle that enables you to write your program, compile your program, and then run your program. And then connection between Android and Java. Let's move on to the next slide for that. So Android is nothing but another programming methodology or kind of language for mobiles that follows Java. So Android is fully based on Java. You will create the .java file, you will create the .class file. So Android is basically an extension or is fully based on Java, which is why understanding the basic concepts of Java is very important, because all the basic concepts are used in Java, because Android programs are basically nothing but Java programs. Without understanding the basic concepts of Java or the object-oriented programming methodology in Java, it would be really difficult or sometimes impossible to grasp the concepts of Android, which is why we're going to go through the basic concepts of Java. That's what this course covers. Java is a vast programming language. It has a ton of things to learn. What we're going to focus on is only the absolute basics of Java that are needed in order for us to learn Android. So this course covers all the basic concepts that you would need if you are a starting Java programmer, all the basic concepts that you need to understand what Java is, different programming constructs in Java that will help you in learning Android. So thanks again for joining this course, and let's learn Java.